Hello, my name is Jenan Kanono. I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited, where we get to serve you. So if you have a financial challenge, if you have a money problem, if you want to scale up your business, we have you sorted. And you can always check us out at www.thejonakiholdings.com for money solutions. We are located in Tinda as our headquarters and at Mulago Business Center as our branch. Enjoy this video. Here again with our operations manager Shivan Arimpa. Glad to have you again. Yeah, we stopped at ticking the boxes, the 5 C's. So I'm a lender. I've done all the requirements previously. I've done my due diligence. I've done my 5 C's. I've assessed very well. Now, how do I actually recover? How do I recover the money that I lent this guy?
So once you have done all the 5 C's, you've done your proper assessment and you've given out the money, it is obvious that this money needs to come back. So what you do, depending on what period you give clients, the people who do weekly, the people who do monthly, the people who do quarterly. So with the period that you've given a client, it's very important that you keep in the face of the client. And how do you keep in the face of the client? If it is like, for instance, after you've disbursed the money or given them the money, it is important that you call these clients to find out how the services, where you gave them money. You're just creating a rapport with the clients from the word go. So they will also feel happy and glad that someone really called me even after receiving the money. And that's when they even give you the feedback to know whether the services were good or bad. So they also help you. So now you've started creating a rapport with the client from the word go. So once you've communicated with them and you're sure they've received the money and they're happy about the services, you give them, of course, time. If someone is paying in a month's time, if it is a week to the due date of payment, that is 7 days to the due date of payment. You give them the first phone call, a greeting, of course. You remind them about the payment that is due in the coming 7 days so that they can prepare early and make sure that they avail the money on time. So after those 7 days, 2 days to the date of payment, for those who have systems that also give reminders, at this point the clients are also reminded by the systems with messages, with emails. Then after that, 2 days to the date of payment, you still remind the client about the payment. But there are scenarios where you reach on the due date, even after all these reminders, someone still hasn't paid the money. So if someone hasn't paid the money on the due date, but you've been reminding them on the payment, you still keep calling on the very date they are supposed to pay. There are high chances that most of them will pay, but there will still be others that will give excuses. Probably, I didn't receive money, I'm waiting for a check that has not yet gone through. Depending on whatever excuse that someone gives, you give them a benefit of doubt for the next 5 days. So once the 5 days have reached from the dates they were supposed to make this payment, now things have gone out of hand. You had a whole month behind, you've been reminded, you're now into the month of payment and there is no money coming through. So 5 days into the date of payment, you serve the first demand letter. So as you serve this first demand letter at this point, you involve the guarantors because they are part of this loan. With the first communication, it was mainly the client. But since they haven't paid, at this point, you involve the guarantors. You let them know that the person you guaranteed is not paying on time and it is now some days have passed. So we need feedback. Sometimes clients come through because they've had calls from their guarantors, they will pay. But there are also those ones that will not pay even after serving them the first demand letter. So what you do, you still push with the guarantor, you keep the phone calls coming through. Do not fear any intimidation. Consistency is very key in recovery. So that means that if you call someone today, you can't even, you have the right to still call them even the next day, every day, because they are not paying your money on time. So even when you're intimidated, it doesn't matter. Just keep the consistency. So at this time, some will come through, make commitments. They will bring in LOPs showing how they are waiting for payments and all that. But nevertheless, the procedure has to continue. So after Remember, we said the other ones were the first 5 days after the due date. So you've already served the first demand letter. So now, after the other 5 days, making it around 14 days of a missed repayment, you serve the second notice. So this time, when you serve the second notice, you involve everyone on the file. If there are chairpersons involved, if there are wives, spouses, anyone involved in the loan at this point is notified about the default of the client. But some will pay, you will still find others who will still fail to pay. So when they fail to pay, you still give them an allowance of about more 5 to 7 days, which takes the loan to about 21 days in default. So at this time, you give a recall letter or a default notice. You're giving this letter because, honestly, you've given someone time from the first day to the 21st date from the date they were supposed to make the payment, and someone is not coming through, they are not paying money. So this time the loan is at a risk. You're not even sure if your money will come back or not. So you serve a recall letter. A recall letter is a letter that is saying, vis-a-vis the agreements and times we had, we need all our money back because the agreements we made from the start are no longer viable. So we need all our money back. So when you serve this recall letter, here, if a client had even a collateral, a car, a property, land, at this point it's when you even serve them a letter for intention to sell. You're letting them know that us requesting for you to pay back all our money, we are also alerting you that we have the right, or we are letting you know that anytime soon we are going to sell your property in case the money doesn't come through. So once you have done that, some clients will come through because no one wants their property to be sold. So they will come through and make payments, make commitments, or is allow the clients to commit on what they can afford. Yes, they took the money, but at the same time, remember your end goal is not to sell the client's property, or it is not to leave them without anything. You gave them money to help, so you also have to be empathetic. You have to be in their shoes. If someone tells you that I lost a dad, yes, by the time the father died, probably the loan was already in missed repayment, but maybe that's what caused the delay. So you be empathetic a bit and you allow them a little more time. But if still they cannot make any payments or not fulfill their commitments at this point, you proceed and you pull this if it's a vehicle, you impound it. When I say impounding, it's where you forcefully take this vehicle from the client because they have failed to pay your money. So when you impound this vehicle, it doesn't mean that when you impound you should sell immediately. Yes, so you still give them time. You give them at least a week or two to, you know, look for this money and see how they can pay it. So here the clients will come through, the guarantors, they will look for family members to come through and help. And at this point, some clients always clear their money. But if they do not, then you straight away, after the 14 days of impounding, you proceed and you advertise. So when you advertise in the newspapers, here you're allowing the client to look for buyers, people that can also buy the vehicle, and probably if the vehicle can fetch like 20 million, maybe for you demanding 5 million, you only offset your money, which is the 5, and you allow the client stay with the other money that is a balance from the fee. So when you advertise, you allow the client to look for buyers, but you must communicate all these procedures as you're doing them. You must communicate to the clients, you must communicate to the guarantors. Everyone involved in the loan must be aware of what is happening. So when you even advertise, in most cases clients come through because they don't want their properties to just go away, and you will find the clients that will also totally not come through. So you still give them an allowance of about 14 days. With the law, it allows 14 days after advertising. So after they have, the 14 days have elapsed, in this case, negotiations always come in. Clients are coming in to say, now the 14 days are done, but at least give me like 2 days, 3 days. Don't just proceed to sell. Yes, you need your money, but at the same time, like I said, you need to be empathetic. So you, if they ask for a few days, you can allow. If they do not, then you agree. And of course, by that time, you'll have had received biddings, people who want to buy. At least they should be more than 3. You can't just have one buyer and sell to that person. They should be more than 3. Then you agree on which one has the highest figure, and you proceed and sell, and then you offset your money and also give the clients the balance. So you have recovered your money, but at the same time you've given them enough time to look for money even when they had challenges.
Wow, thank you so much, Shivan. Very elaborate, very elaborate. I realize that you've touched one collateral. We might not have the time for this session to actually go to another collateral. I know that land probably has a different procedure and probably a slightly longer procedure. But thank you for the information. Now, to the lenders out there, I encourage you that, acquaint yourself with these things. They will help you a lot, because you don't want to be on the wrong side of the law. Come for a masterminds, come for, apprenticeship, come, get someone who is already above you so that he can help you, because, we want to grow together. We want to grow with you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like and comment, highlight the topic you'd like us to talk about, but also check us out at www.generalkeyholdings.com. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you so much, Shivan, for your time.
Thank you.
It was nice having you.
Thank you.
Bless.